After working with men for a couple of years now, I've come to notice something very common, predictable, and it happens very often, and it's really sneaky. You don't really notice it. It is the individual that waits for motivation to kick in before they take action on something. They're needing a little bit of a lift, something to get the juices flowing before they actually embark on whatever it is that they want, whether it be a business, career, a change in environment, doesn't really matter. But the one thing that is repeating over and over again, once we actually break down what's really going on, waiting for motivation before action is really, in some form, a fear of failure. Now, it acts as a fear of failure simply because waiting for what? What are we waiting for exactly? Oftentimes when people are waiting for motivation, they're waiting for a sense of certainty. You are waiting for that sort of irrational feeling, that level of energy that kicks in and says, what we are doing is going to happen. We can make this work. And we're using that momentary lift, that altitude, to then embark and move forward. However, the one repeated pattern that happens after that, and you can reflect on your life and see if it's the same case, you will have that spike in motivation, but then as you move forward in that path, you're going to run into what? You're going to run into challenges. You're going to run into failures. You're going to run into setbacks. And ultimately, somewhere along the line, we drop off. So we either drop off here, it doesn't matter, to each their own. And thus repeats the cycle. Now, what happens is once we get to a point where we actually either drop off, we say it's just too difficult, or we get to a point of challenge which really discourages us, so we actually can fall into a state of low energy now. Low energy, let's say a sense of a low chance of success now. You feel like the likelihood of you actually making this work is like barely there. And once you get there, we're doing the exact same thing. We're waiting and waiting until we get a lift of certainty, something that makes you feel like it's actually going to happen. And then here you go repeating the exact same pattern. And this happens over and over again, which is why people will start something. You'll wait for that kick. You do it. You start. You hit a roadblock. That roadblock is now a signal of uncertainty. And, well, maybe this isn't going to work. It's not going to happen. And then it plummets you into a low state that then has to give you time to recover, so on and so forth. Maybe then you'll think, this isn't the right path. I have to do something completely different. But we have to understand one other thing too. What is really going on? Why are we repeating this habit? I get asked that. Why is it that this keeps happening to me? Well, what is it? The way we're going to answer that is understand what is it that we need certainty for? Why do we need certainty so badly? Why do we need to know if this is going to work or not? Because at some deep level, the external, whatever that external is, the result, the outcome, is going to determine and validate your sense of value, image, and control. These are different words I use for my core desires. The core desires are I matter, I am seen. Sorry, I just had like a brain fart there. And I have agency. At some deep level, we will, as for the masculine, because we're very outwardly focused creatures, not creatures, but beings. So what that means is if we are lacking a sense of inherent value, if you don't feel like you're good enough, you always feel like you have to perform or do X, Y, and Z to feel at least baseline accepted, not just by other people, but accepting yourself with your own company. Image, What version of yourself are you curating so that you are now accepted to the people around you, but most importantly, accepted with yourself, your own company? We have a lot of parts of our personality and our being, in our psyche, that we're not fond of. We want to push to the sidelines and only have the desired traits. Everything else should just get casted in the shadow. And then also control. Do you feel you have control over your own life? And so when you look at a particular pathway, if there's no sense of certainty that the motivation can bring, a feeling that it's going to happen, then in between that state, the idea that if I fail, that's going to confirm this script that I've been running, that I don't have inherent value unless I succeed. So why bother even doing it and facing that emotional discomfort? Or that's going to affect the image I'm trying to create. If I fail, they're going to see me as this. When I was competing in jiu-jitsu, whenever the thought of failure kicked in, it was really affecting my sense of image, the version that wants to be seen. If I failed, then I thought, well, this image I'm trying to build of the strong, consistent athlete, successful, meant to do big things, was all a lie. And the script that I don't have inherent value is the ultimate truth. Like, we have dual scripts we often fight. The part of ourselves that wants to be more full and happy and at peace with who we are, but the side that says we're not adequate, and then they often clash and fight. Now, at that deep level, if we were to see that, okay, well, the idea of failing sparks one of these three, or maybe all of them, then it's no wonder that we seek certainty. We seek this moment of lift so that we can guarantee for that moment, okay, this is going to work. This is going to work. And now I can avoid that feeling of unworthiness. I can avoid being seen vulnerable. And then I can avoid that sense where I do not have control, because I want to feel in control. But then now the next thing is, what is the alternative? What is the alternative that we can approach? Do not wait for motivation. Instead, you will learn through action. Action plus refinement will equal success. The longer you wait, the more it reinforces a narrative that you are not an action taker. You are afraid. You could feel it in yourself. The longer you wait to do anything, the more the more it affects your self-concept. And so taking action is, of course, breaking down the details of this next step. Whatever your next step is in life that you want to take. Being rational, being logical, using the brain to make it make sense. But then realizing and understanding at some point the brain has to turn off. The emotions will naturally go from excited to fearful to, anxious. It's all normal, completely normal things, but at some point we have to understand you cannot rely on those emotions to be the very thing that moves you forward. Because one day you'll feel like it and one day you won't, right? So the ultimate fuel source is the fuel that is derived and developed through motion. It is inertia. As you move, motivation will follow. Because what we're trying to do is get to the base level of who you are. And if at the base level you are someone that takes action, whether successful or not, you run through an idea, you're inspired by it, your soul is calling you forward. When you think about that path, you feel a sense of calm, peace, excitement. That's all okay. You feel power, adventure, all these wonderful emotions, these wonderful states of being. And that's what you feel. And so you begin to walk and move towards it. And the saying I always go for is micro to macro. Micro to macro. What this means is small steps will lead to big steps. we often want to jump. That sense of certainty makes us so that we want to start our business, start our career, start this new path, whatever it is, and we want to go jump right to the next thing where we already got it, just to avoid all the discomfort. But the discomfort is part of it. But if that's the focus, then yes, you're not going to want to feel uncomfortable. But if the actual thing, the actual inspiration is that at the core level, you have inherent value no matter what, that you have value, that you have yourself to see all of you, every aspect of you, to see every aspect and not reject yourself. And that realizing that you have autonomy and power and choice. We so often put the blame to the external world that we are lacking control, that it is affecting our self-worth, and that it is also affecting the perceived image that we have. And there is truth, of course. Absolutely there's truth to it. But we utilize that reality and we over-leverage it. We over-leverage it, because I wiped it, because of the fear of failure. The fear that this will not be certain, that I can't guarantee the outcome. But in reality, if you reject a part of yourself, there's aspects of you that you are disliking and hating, or there are parts of you that you are not actually growing and therefore you're feeling your self-concept reduce. If you don't take action, then you're going to start to notice yourself be a non-action taker. You're someone who just is a passerby and you just watch life just move forward. And that's not going to help you at all. That's going to lower your sense of energy, or your levels of energy rather. And so then, as the individual who decides to move and take action, begin the steps, what will happen is at a very deep level, you will begin to notice that, well, I want to be the type of person who is moving. I want to move forward. And I want to move forward because every time I move forward towards the direction that gets me excited, that makes me feel powerful, at peace and calm, I am stepping into the world and the reality that I am designing, that I feel complete, that I feel whole. And the more you move towards it, then you refine things. You start a business, it's not going to go the way you want it. But as you move, you'll start to notice, well, as I start my marketing, okay, I got to tweak this a little bit. I got to change this and learn and gather more information and develop skills. But then as you continue past that point, then it's about sales, then it's about X, Y, and Z. And so along the way, you are going to face the challenges, which is absolutely natural, but the feeling of moving, it's kind of like a runner's high. As you're running and jogging, you can get to a state where you're tired and exhausted, but you can just keep moving. But the minute you stop, then all of a sudden that fatigue kicks in and then you're pretty much done for the day. Or and the same thing with running, it's like you're not going to get to that place of flow if you never make the choice to run. And instead you say, well, I'm going to wait for the day I'm feeling a lot of energy and then I'm going to go run. Well, you're trying to have everything line up exactly perfect because the reality is it will not align perfect. And so you can forever just hold off the decision endlessly, indefinitely. The alternative, micro to macro, small steps lead to big steps. As silly as a next task will be that you feel is dumb, doesn't matter. It's a small action point that leads to bigger action points over time. And then remember, the fear of failure at a deeper level is the fear of uncertainty. We are not certain of our future. And the reason why is because in some way, we are affected by how we're going to be perceived, how we're going to be seen by ourselves, how the world's going to see us, the sense of value that we have, feeling that it's not valid, that we need to achieve to actually be worthy, and that ultimate feeling of loss of control because I failed and now I feel terrible and it's revalidating all of it. But it's just a script. It's a script from your past, it's a script from your upbringing, and it is not the ultimate truth. It is not. And until we challenge it, until we face it, make peace, and understand that in order for us to be okay with failure, we need to be okay with being with ourselves with failure. Be with yourself with it, and accept yourself with whatever you're feeling if you fail. You're going to feel embarrassed. You're going to feel shameful. Do not reject that part of yourself. Do not reject. Because what you do with yourself is what you are going to imagine others are going to do to you. We don't really notice that. It's very unconscious. If I reject myself every single time that I feel embarrassed, I feel shamed, I feel small, and I reject it, I hate when I feel those feelings, then of course now I'm going to put in my mind that if I fail, those people are going to feel that towards me. They're going to feel disgusted. They're going to feel like, well, what an idiot. This is so embarrassing. Just go home. Do something different with your life. It's not for you. We put out to the world whatever we just do with ourselves. Our inner world just gets projected to the outer world. And so if you begin to accept fully who you are in the face of failure, fully embrace it, take the impact, take the emotion, whatever it is, let it flow, and say, you know what, buddy, no matter what happens, if we fail, I'm here, I'm standing right here with you. I'm going to see you for all that you are. Once you see for all that you are, is that not inherently leading to the notion that, well, then I have inherent value then? If no matter what has happened, I'm hanging out with myself, then I have value beyond the material, beyond the outward success. You need to prove that. You need to prove it. And the way you prove it is through feeling. You have to feel the discomfort. Do not run. Do not run. Feel the pain. Feel it. And say to yourself, I'm with you, no matter what. Inherent value will naturally follow over time. And what you realize is that you have more control than you ever could have imagined. And it was the limitations and restrictions that you put on yourself that then you cast to the outer world, and we say the restrictions are out there. The restrictions are in here. It's all within you. We are the prison guard while simultaneously the prisoner. We hold the key to the very cage we sit inside of. We just don't know it. We don't fully know it. For those that need a lot more support, so if you're a man right now, nearing your 30s, over your 30s, and you want to be a part of a group that's not all alpha male, this and that, just like do this, bro. But you also don't want something to be super up in the air, floaty, spiritual, nothing grounded. I provide a balance. That's just my approach. I like the spiritual, but I also love the grounded, the practical way to move forward in your life, breaking away from the scripts that hold you back, that limit your life's potential, not in terms of monetary or anything like that, but basically getting to that base state where you have the fullest acceptance of yourself. Because when you fully accept yourself, and you fully recognize the value that you hold, regardless of anything you have in the material world, then you realize you have control. And with control leads action. And action creates change. Thinking creates more thinking. So down below, I got that link. You can join the community. 90-day refund policy. If you don't like it, get your money back. No questions asked. And then for those that are not ready for that, click the second link below. Join my newsletter so you can get information, guides, practices sent to you every single Sunday. Okay? Take care, guys. I'll see you next time.